webinar, and we will be starting right on the hour. I'd like to welcome you if you've just joined us. Again, go ahead and grab hot chocolate, coffee, tea, grab a pen and a piece of paper, and we will be starting right on the hour. So hang tight, and again, we'll be starting right on the hour. If you've just joined us, thank you for joining this webinar, and we will be starting right on the hour. We have about 3 more minutes before the webinar will start. Go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a pen. We want to welcome you tonight from wherever you are, and hang tight. We'll be with you momentarily. Hello and welcome to tonight's webinar. If you have just joined us, please grab a piece of paper and a pen. We're excited to have you on tonight's webinar, and we will be starting in 2 minutes exactly. So hang tight. We'll be starting momentarily. Hello and welcome to tonight's webinar. We're going to give it just 1 more minute to make sure everyone has gotten on and is ready to go. If you have just joined us, please grab a piece of paper and a pen. You'll want to make sure that you take good notes. We're very excited to be with you live tonight, and we'll be starting in about 30 seconds. Hello and welcome to tonight's webinar, and we are so glad that you could join us tonight. It is right up straight on the hour, and so we are going to start as promised on the hour. I want to welcome all of you to our VIP session for funding. You were personally invited to this webinar, and we just wanted to let you know that this is our beta launch for funding. And all of you who are on this webinar tonight will have access to this before it goes nationwide. So welcome, and we're excited to have you. I'd like to welcome everyone again to this webinar this evening, where we will be discussing nationwide funding for your business and your consultants' businesses. So hi everyone, I'm Kelly Barber, president of MyMK Leads, and I'm here tonight with Ray Sims, managing director of Capital Solutions Funding Group. Are you there, Ray?
I am here, and we have people just pouring in. We're roughly around, let's see, close to 300 and adding to the number. So we may want to give it just a few minutes just to
Sure.
allow everyone to go ahead and get on, and we can go from there.
Sounds great. We'd like to welcome you to this call tonight. We're just taking a few more minutes to make sure that everyone is getting on. We do have many people on the webinar already, and just wanted to make sure and give those few extra people a couple of more minutes before we're ready to go. So we'd like to welcome you. Grab a piece of paper and a pen. We will be starting in just a few minutes. We'd like to welcome everyone again. We are just letting everyone get on, and we will be starting momentarily. Go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a pen, and we'll be right with you. We'd like to welcome you to tonight's webinar. We're going to be starting momentarily. Go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a pen. We're just letting a few more people jump on so that they don't miss out on hearing the most important information. And so we will be starting momentarily. All right, we'd like to welcome everyone, and I'm going to start over with my introduction because I don't want anyone to miss out. So we'd really like to welcome all of you to our VIP session for funding. That's right, you are a VIP on this call or this webinar if you are here with us tonight. You were basically personally invited to this webinar, or someone personally invited you if it wasn't directly from me. I want to let you know that this is our beta launch for funding, and you will actually have VIP access, so early access to this funding before we go nationwide. I'd like to welcome everyone to the webinar this evening, where we're going to be discussing nationwide funding for your business. If you need existing inventory, or if you have a new consultant or just about to recruit a new consultant, this is the place you want to be. It's going to teach you all the information to get you going. We are going to give you detailed information about this funding program and the application process. So hi everyone, I am Kelly Barber, president of My MK Leads, and I'm here tonight with Ray Sims, managing director of Capital Solutions Funding Group. Ray, are you with me?
I am here. I am here. I'm just watching
Welcome.
the attendees pour in.
Awesome. That is great to hear.
Well, how is everybody this evening? I'm sure you're doing well, and as Kelly said earlier, you may want to grab like a sheet of paper or a pen or a crayon or watercolors or whatever you choose to write with, and you may want to be able to take some notes. We're going to be talking about, obviously, a new inventory funding system, and really something that is cutting edge and purposely and custom designed strictly for you as consultants. And I'm going to kind of talk about a couple of different things. Of course, we're going to talk about the program. That's kind of a given. But more importantly, tonight we're also going to cover kind of how we got here and where we're going with this particular program. Because I think that's important for you to know as associates and as people who will be using the program. So with that, I want to kind of provide a little bit of history and talk about a couple of different things that I think are going to be important for you to understand. And the first is kind of a conceptual issue, and that is that you don't have a closing problem, you have a funding problem. Now, let me kind of put that together for you for just a moment so you can understand what I'm talking about. You may actually sit with a number of different individuals in a given week. And when you sit with these individuals, you're talking about the opportunity for them to change their lives, to actually go from a life of perhaps quiet desperation to a life of fulfillment and achievement, a life where they actually can take control of their future. And I would be willing to bet that for every one of those people that you sit down with, their eyes tend to get bigger, their shoulders tend to get taller, they sit up taller, and they're excited about what they can do. And then it comes down towards the end of the appointment and you talk about how they get involved and how they need to fund their inventory, and it's almost as if the oxygen gets sucked out of the room. It's as if they're looking at you and going, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I want to do that. I want to start at the highest level. I'm excited, and they leave, and they're floating on cloud nine. But then towards the end, they're starting to self-doubt. They're starting to question their own abilities. They're starting to say words like, I can't afford that right now, or maybe we can do that in the future. Now, I'm fairly certain that everybody on this line has heard or been a part of that type of scenario. So conceptually, philosophically, you don't have a problem in closing people as far as helping them understand that they can take control of their lives and be proactive instead of reactive and create their own business. The problem comes down to the economics. And in this day and time, where we all know everyone is struggling from a certain economical standpoint, it's becoming more and more difficult to have those people who can actually jump on that opportunity and harness it for what it's worth. And that's part and parcel to what Kelly has expressed to me. And I'm going to kind of go back a little bit, and Kelly, feel free to jump in here, but I received a phone call, and this project has actually been, Kelly and I were just discussing it, probably over a year in the making. Trying to create this scenario, and here's kind of what Kelly posed to me. She said, Ray, I speak with people every day who are involved in the business, consultants who are out, and they're frustrated because funding for their business just does not exist. Credit has gotten tighter, banks are not lending. There's a myriad of reasons why people weren't able to capitalize on the opportunity that they wanted to capitalize on. So here's what she said. I need a funding program that's available in all 50 states. That funding program must offer the best rates and terms available to help them fund their inventory for their opportunity. It also must cater to both high and very low credit scores. It has to cater to a wide variety of incomes, from people who are stay-at-home moms or perhaps currently unemployed, all the way through people who are currently employed. It must be available for those with or without a job. It must allow for co-signers as an option, and must fund a range of possible inventory purchases. And finally, it has to allow the funds to be used over a 90-day period. Now, let's kind of run back through this for just a moment, because this was kind of my thought. Available in all 50 states, regardless of who that individual was, whether they had very low credit scores or great credit scores or income or great income or no income. It needs to offer the best rates and terms available for that person. It has to be available with co-signers, possibly as an option. be able to fund the range of possible inventory purchases, and it has to be able to be used over a 90-day period. Well, we commonly refer to this as a unicorn. Okay, it's a myth. It's in my mind as she's talking to me. I'm thinking, okay, what possible bank is going to do this? Where could this myth possibly exist? Well, as we're kind of going through, we came up with a base criteria for this inventory funding program, and that base criteria is that the inventory funding program has to be built for those individuals with troubled credit who are unable to be approved for traditional funding. So the base premise of this is for that individual who doesn't happen to have just the cash sitting in the upper right-hand drawer, or for that individual who has troubled credit and can't just walk over to their bank and say, I would like a loan for X amount and receive that loan. That's what this funding is for. So it has two main goals. The first goal is to help new consultants get funding to start at the highest possible entry level for their inventory. The second goal is to provide access to funding for inventory purchases for current consultants. So this program is not just for brand new people. It's also encompassing people who are already in, but who maybe want to take their inventory to the next level. And that's an important thing to remind yourself as we're kind of going through. Now, what did we create? Well, we have actually created a program that is available in all 50 states. So I know many of you, and I've spoken with quite a few of you, who are using different sources and referring people for funding, but they're only available in a couple of states. Or the interest rates are, I think I looked at one lender and it was like 274% on the interest rate. It was crazy. But for our program, it is available in all 50 states. Now, we're going to use multiple lenders to custom design your funding, and I'm going to talk more about that in just a few moments. You're going to be assigned your own personal loan advisor to help guide you through the entire funding process. The funding is going to be available for everyone to apply, and all credit and income types will be considered. We have the best rates and terms available based on their credit, and there's no prepayment penalty or balloon payment. Co-signers are welcome, and co-signers can be anyone who qualifies independently on their own, so it doesn't necessarily have to be an individual who is within the household. It can be another individual outside of the household, or maybe even in a different state. And lastly, we can get pre-approvals in 10 to 15 seconds using this system. So let's kind of talk about this. Originally, when we started this project about a year ago, I covered the entire myriad. And just to give you kind of some background on myself and my firm, Capital Solutions Funding Group, since about 2007, we specialize in helping small businesses and startup companies find capital to fund their business. That's our primary goal. Well, as kind of a spin-off of that, we have helped many of our corporate partners create funding programs within their organizations that help them fund their projects to their customers. So, for instance, many of you have gone into furniture stores and seen things like, same as cash 24-month financing. We've done several of those programs. We have a myriad of programs out there. But even with that sphere of influence, even having done it for as long as we've done it, and being in touch with over 300 different lending institutions across the nation, what we found with this program, given this criteria for you, is that the secret is not found in a single lending source. In other words, there's not one bank that has that unicorn program or finance solution that's going to cover all of these things. The secret is in the process and having multiple lending sources and able to custom design each individual lending package for each individual person. Now, let me kind of add to that for a moment. When our loan advisors speak with our clients on the phone, when we train them to understand that each client is kind of like a snowflake. In other words, every client has a different credit history. Every client has a different credit score. Every client has a different income history. The list goes on and on. Everyone has their own very unique set of circumstances that they're currently living within. Our job is to advise you and to help custom design the lending package that's going to meet the needs for what you're trying to gain in funding your inventory. So the secret is in the process and having multiple lending sources to where we can custom design and use multiple sources to create that lending package, whatever it is you're trying to fund for your inventory. Okay, let's press on here for a moment. Let's kind of discover what our process is, because it's a very unique process. As a matter of fact, no one else in the nation truly has it. Let's talk about where we start. The first thing we do is we're going to have you register for a complete assessment. Now, this assessment is imperative to our entire process. And what it allows us to do is it allows us to view, take a snapshot of your current credit so that we can then begin to match that to lenders that are going to meet the needs and requirements that you have on a very specialized basis. So the first thing you're going to do is register for your credit assessment. And I'm going to give you all the addresses and everything to do that on Friday. Second thing is that when that funding assessment is complete, you're actually going to receive an email back that shows this is your credit assessment, these are some of the challenges we may have, and here's some of the lenders that we're going to recommend. But more importantly, do you qualify for any type of lending? Now, I need to be clear here. We're not going to be able to finance every single person on the planet regardless of their current lifestyle situation. Our goal, and I'll be completely candid, our goal is to fund 60 to 70% of anyone that you send to us. And I think that that's actually a very good goal. In today's credit markets, by the way, when a lender looks at a portfolio of individuals, take auto loans for instance, when a finance company finances auto loans, they typically are looking to finance about 15 to 23%. Beyond that, they really won't finance. We're trying to get that number to 60% by using a multiple of lenders to cater to that individual's needs. So the first question is, do I qualify for any type of lending? If that's yes, then that's great. You're going to receive your funding status email, which is what I just talked about a few moments ago, and a loan advisor is actually going to call you and sit down and actually begin to create that custom solution for you based on where you are currently. So if you have credit challenges, if you have income challenges, don't worry. That's our job, is to sit down and try to match you with a lender that is going to meet those needs at the best possible rates and the best possible terms. Once we've sat down and we've actually met with you and we've gone over it and we've designed your lending package, then we get you to that approval stage. And once you're approved, then your inventory is going to be funded. Let's say you do not qualify for any type of lending. Let's kind of go back up to the middle of the chart here. And the answer is no. That's okay. We have other credit options for helping you in improving your credit standing so that you can be approved. So we're not just going to say, sorry, you weren't approved, good luck, and we hope you have a great life. We're going to offer some solutions to hopefully help you regain that credit status that will get you to that approval stage eventually. Okay, so let's move a bit forward here. And let me kind of just break that down once again into steps, because some people don't like flowcharts, I've been told. So step one, we're going to register for your credit assessment on the inventory funding website. And that website is www.fundmyinventory.com. Now, if you go there currently, you're going to see a countdown clock. It's important that you recognize what that is. The countdown clock is the actual date where it's going to be launched to just you, the VIP members. So we're still in the process of fine-tuning a few things, and it's probably going to be sometime on Friday, if you're guessing. It's going to be on Friday when that's going to be live for you to be able to either send people to and or go there yourself. Okay, so step one, you're going to register for the credit assessment on the inventory funding website. Step 2, you're going to receive an email with your credit status and a time to complete your loan application from one of our loan advisors. Step 3, you're going to receive a phone call from your loan consultant to review your credit, customize your funding options, and guide you through the entire loan process. We're not just going to leave you out there on your own to try to figure out paperwork and what needs to be sent in or doesn't need to be sent in, so forth. We're there to hold your hand through the entire process to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing, exactly what your funding options are, and you're completely educated in the process. Step 4, the final step, is once we've gotten you to that approval, within about 3 to 5 days of that approval, you're going to receive an email from Capital Solutions Funding Group that we have received your funding on your behalf and you can now enter your order. So once we've taken care of those 4 steps, it's at that point that you're going to be able to enter your order. So one of the most important things to look at when we're talking about this is, 1, you're not going to be left alone. We're going to walk you through the entire process to make sure that the paperwork is done correctly, that you understand everything entirely, all your questions are answered even before you begin. But once you're through that approval process, at that point, we're going to take it from there and help you to get that order entered. Let's talk about what the funding qualifications you may need are. 1, you must be 18 years or older and a U.S. citizen. 2, you have to have an open checking account in good standing. You have to have some type of household income. And once again, household income is the household. So if that's the income of you and your spouse combined, then that's the income of you and your spouse combined. It doesn't have to be strictly just your income. Next, you must meet the minimal standards, and for every client that's going to be very different. Remember, we're using a number of different lenders, so we're able to custom tailor that based on where you are currently in your life. Next, you must have a driver's license or proof of identity. And last, if possible, you should have some type of proof of income when applying. Now, proof of income, if possible, and you do have that, could be anything, and I just put some examples down here, and we're going to work with you. Your loan consultant will walk you through this. It could be a W-2, it could be a 1099 if you're self-employed, it could be last year's taxes, bank statements, just something that we can show the lender that whatever we put down for the gross household income, meaning before anything is ever taken out, we can show them that that household income is there. So, kind of in closing, the purpose of tonight and kind of what we truly hope to achieve was that, 1, for everybody that's on this call, you can actually kind of wrap your minds around what it is we're trying to do. Some of the obstacles, obviously, that we have faced, but more importantly, as you can see here, we're going to email an update. And by the way, for everybody that registered tonight, we should have your email. And you're going to receive an email as soon as the funding site is complete on Friday. That's this Friday, August 29th. Once you receive that email, you'll be able to go to that site, which is the site that we discussed earlier, fundmyinventory.com. And you'll be able to go ahead and register for your funding assessment, and we'll begin that process. Now, one quick note, and I just remembered, you'll have to forgive me. The funding assessments themselves, once you register, there's typically about a roughly 24-hour period. Some people were able to get them back within an hour, but on an average, let's just say 24 hours to receive that funding assessment back and then schedule your call with your loan consultant when they'll be calling you. So just a quick FYI. But as I said before, the purpose of tonight was to give you this information so you can do a couple of different things. 1, if you're the individual who is looking to fund your personal inventory, well, you now have a date and a time and a good understanding of what we're trying to accomplish. But 2, and probably more importantly, is if you've had people in the past that you haven't been able to receive or get funding for, and they fall into that list of, I guess, folks who you can't help, well, now you can go back through that list and say, I have a source now, starting this Friday, where we can go and hopefully get you the funding that you need to truly make that life change that you've been wanting to make. And that's the most important thing. As I said, if we can get 60 or even 70% of the people that you send to us approved, think of the lives that are going to be changed. Think of the differences in people's lives that you're actually able to make. And that's the point of what we're trying to accomplish here. Kelly, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
You know, I'm glad that you asked, Ray, because the most exciting thing, and I hope that from this webinar tonight that you've been able to see, is this really is a one-stop shop for everyone, all of your consultants, whether they're new, whether they're existing, whether they have good credit and high income, they can get funded and get they can get their inventory. Or whether they have no credit and low income, they can get funded. So this really is, and I hope you see it as this, is a one-stop shop where you'll be able to basically, whoever you sit down with and they are excited and ready to go with their business, they can now step forward and go to fundmyinventory.com and begin the application process to get approved for their inventory. So we're super excited.
Well, excellent. If you have any questions or if you have any concerns that we have not covered, I have my email here, which is rsims@capitalsolutionsfundinggroup.com. Feel free to drop me an email directly. I'll be happy to answer any questions as quickly as I can get to them. We had a lot from an earlier kind of a Q&A session that we did. So if you have questions, just bear with me a little bit. I'll get back to you as quickly as possible, but I will get back with everybody. So with that, we didn't want to take too much time with you this evening. One note that I would like to make, by the way, is all of the information that we've talked about here tonight will be available for replay, because I know we kind of covered a lot of things. I tried to be respectful of everybody's time and do it as quickly as possible. But it will be available for replay, and you should receive that replay link. Now, we did have a bit of a glitch the last time that we had this particular session. If we do have that glitch, just wait, because we're going to send you another email with a different link, and it's going to be the replay of this particular session. Aside from that, the site itself, it will be comprehensive. So you'll be able to send individuals there, and they'll be able to read about the program and really kind of go over the exact same information that you received tonight, even before they start. So don't feel like you have to be a lending or a financial specialist in order to put people into the program. You really don't. The site's going to be well explained and comprehensive to where an individual can go on there, click on a video, understand what they're doing, and move from step 1 to step 2 all the way through the entire lending process. So with that, we thank you very much for taking time out of this evening. We've certainly enjoyed speaking with all of you this evening. And as I said, if you have any questions, do not hesitate for a moment to drop me an email. And we look forward to helping everybody take your business to the absolute top level that it could possibly be. Just imagine the impact if you sat with 10 people a week and you could actually get 7 of them approved, how that would change your business and change the business of their associates, because they can now go and duplicate the exact same thing. So with that, I wish everyone a wonderful evening, and I thank you very much for being on this broadcast. Good night.
Thank you all. Good night.